Oof. Hello. Oh my gosh. Anyway, like how Saturn is featured. So I was literally just thinking, because of life, um, I'm gonna try to keep a thought today. It's been a struggle, but I've been thinking because of life about life, and when thinking about life because of life, it made me also didn't make me, but it led me to think about Saturn in Aquarius at 14 degrees in like 50 something minutes because my Saturn is in Aquarius at like 23 degrees in some minutes. And so I want to do like 9 degrees of Saturn-paration, like 6 degrees of separation. For me, this is gonna be like a bunch of me stuff, so it's probably safe to not watch this one. I mean, it's probably safe to not watch anything that I do. Take it as it resonates. If it resonates, when it resonates, as it resonates. And sometimes, even when you do all that with time, life, or whatever, it may hit differently, or it may unfold in some ways. Speaking of unfolding in ways, um, so I guess so far the question of 2022 is like, what is Patrick willing to tolerate? Um, and I say that because even before, when I was talking with my journey buddy, I don't think did it come up in my 2022 reading. I don't know if it actually came up in the reading, but I know no, I don't think it did. Maybe it did. I don't think it did. Um, I was talking to her before, and she was like, "I think it's just a question of like what you're willing to tolerate." I'm gonna shuffle the deck and then just pull off the first 9 cards. For every degree, as Saturn gets closer and closer to mine. And I mean, I'm going to take it as it resonates. I'm kind of sort of just having fun. But it might hit. Ooh. Oh, snap. Ooh. So 2 cards just turned over. The 10 of Cups and the 2 of Cups. And the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. So, I mean, that's gorgeous. Okay, Saturn, I'll take it. And it's interesting that both of these have rainbows, but it feels that like as it moves from the 2 to the 10, it's like as more and more space. I don't know if the cups are moving. Because at first it's like, the rainbow is coming in and out of the cups. And so it's like as the cups move, the rainbow gets broader and broader. But because at the 10, the rainbow is broader than the cups are, I think the rainbow moves and then the cups sort of like fall in place. And then actually in the 10 of cups, it looks like it starts to curve in on itself, especially there. You see it? So it forms like a circle. Anyway, which reminds me of it was a while ago. Somebody was like, how do you get more than 10 cups? And I said it was like, and I've showed it before, like 2 circles. If you have 2 circles of a certain diameter, one circle of that diameter is larger. It's like when your 10 of cups energy merges with another person's or another whatever's 10 of cups energy. And so they actually build and play off of each other in a way where the resulting energy is larger than either of them separately, like just combined. It's like if you put 4 gallons of this and 4 gallons of that, but you end up with like 20 gallons. It's like that because of the reaction that happens in between them. There's some multiplicative energy. Um, and I say that because, well, actually, I was going to say I say that because it feels like these 10 cups are only half of the circle. that that rainbow would make. But the cups are pretty low, so maybe not. It just reminded me of that. I mean, might as well clarify. But to continue, so hold up. One second. Um, anyway, that was the question. What it is I'm willing to tolerate, right? And so things happen. I find out over and over. And I think sometimes I've noticed, like, I fully believe, and it makes sense that, like, God, the universe, source, angels, guide, spirit, ancestors, whoever, like, they know me and they know what I need and how I need it. Hey, Eve, how are you doing? How are you? Um, and so I think there are sometimes, especially in hindsight, and it's happened enough in hindsight to the point where I can be open to it in the moment, where it's like there are things that happen and occur to get me to do something. And like the thing itself, it's not that the thing itself doesn't have any meaning. Res ipsa, right? The thing itself. Um, un momento, por favor. Hey, I don't even know if I ended up taking a nap, honestly. I was in here like I was listening to Rob, and then I'd close my eyes and keep listening, and then I'd open them, and then I'd close my eyes. And I think, was I messaging somebody or was I typing up an email? No, I think that's after I sent the email. Um, and then yeah, no, I didn't end up taking a nap, but I have been like laying in bed all day. But that's not necessarily different than any other day I'm not at work. Well, I feel like I sit. I do a combination of like sitting in bed or sitting on bed and lying on bed. If I'm going to say on bed, um, but oh snap! Oh, I got two more cards. This is interesting. The World and the Five of Swords came out for the small one. This is hilarious. This is hilarious because of what Rob pulled for me earlier today. The World and the Five of Swords came out with the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And this is literally what I was starting to talk about. Um, like for example, 2020. Um, yeah. Like my room is all bed. Like if you were to look at my room, hold up. Let me do some math. 70, at least like 70% of my room is bed. I have a huge bed and my room isn't that big. So and then like there's this huge desk over here. There's a bookshelf right here. My closet's right there. I have a mini fridge back here. So like there isn't a lot of like non-bed space, although there is a chair right there, which would be cute to just like sit in sometimes instead of like on the bed. But there's like the chair faces this way, and so I'd be like staring at the window or Saturn. But anyway, um, so for example, like, and this is just how Patrick works. And Patrick has done a lot of work. Patrick has done work to try to be better about this. But like for example, mid 2020, like I came back home end of 2019. I had all of 2020 to finish up two classes um, and get my degree, right? And so I came home. I was kind of sort of like first I was taking it easy, and then like I wasn't working. Um, and then like I went to go visit a buddy, and then I came back from visiting my buddy, and then like a few weeks later everything shut down, and then I was like, well, everything shut down. And keep in mind I wasn't really doing any schoolwork. Every time I tried to do like when I started doing schoolwork, um, what a week, 2, 3 weeks later, like, and I was kind of barely doing schoolwork. That's when everything shut down and I lost access to a lot of stuff. And I was like, well, maybe they're just prioritizing the students that are like currently enrolled, and I'm not currently enrolled. I'm just completing work for two classes that I haven't been completing. So then that didn't get figured out until the summer. And then I was having other issues and procrastinating reasons, excuses. But there was one point, oof, in April, it might have been mid to late April. I had like washed the dishes or something, and my mom said something. And this was before I had a breakthrough because for the longest time, I always thought that my mom was the reason why I felt like no matter what I did, like nothing would be good enough. Or like there was always something more I could do, right? That I kind of sort of just resented or rejected as a not extremely active or proactive person. So and one day she said something, and I was like, no matter what I do, nothing is ever good enough for you. And she was like, wait, like that is not true. And then so we talked and then we cleared that up, and we actually cleared up a lot of stuff. My mom has three kids and we're all very different. And like she told me, she was like, you're all different and you all need different things. And so if you see me giving your brother or your other brother something that they need, it's because they need it. Like there are things that I give you that you need that I don't give to them because they don't need it. And but in my mind, it was always like they get this that I don't get, and they get whatever else that I don't get. Like I've never struggled academically, right? School knowledge came to me easy. My brain, when it works, is pretty good at working. Um, but my brothers didn't necessarily have the same strength going through the formal education system, right? And so whenever they got good grades, they would be rewarded for it. And I'll be like, well, I got good grades and I didn't get nothing. Like, what's that about? And she was like, you don't need that incentive. Um, that was one thing. But another thing that I noticed was that like there would be a lot of tension and a lot of friction that would happen. And I noticed it maybe about May, June, or July, that like whenever I got too complacent here, whenever I stopped doing stuff, whenever I stopped like doing work or thinking about where I want to go or in the future and what I want to do with my life, whenever I would just like fall into anime, YouTube, video games, TV, whatever, something would happen that would irritate me. And then because I was irritated, I would reach that point of like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to finish my degree, and I'm going to get this amazing life. And then I'm just going to leave and I'm not going to give anybody anything because I'm mad. Um, and I guess I recognized it again because every single time, another reason, hey Holly, how are you doing? Another reason why I recognized it is because when I went to go stay with my buddy in February, he was like, okay, if you're going to stay here, you're going to do work. So you're going to do your school work while I go off to work, and then we can hang out when I come back. And I was like, okay. And I didn't do no schoolwork. And then one day he made me mad. He made me so mad. I went into the other room, got on my laptop, and started working on homework. I was like, don't talk to me. I'm doing my work. And he was like, yeah, but I'm off work. And like, this is the only time we have to like really hang out, like blah, 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 whatever. But I was mad, so I didn't care. But so that's another reason why like it finally clicked in my brain a few months later that that happens. And then that's when I was like, well, I don't want for conflict or irritation to have to motivate me for me to do whatever it is that I want to do to get me to move to the next step. Um, and that plays in for two reasons. Two of those reasons, yeah, I'm like, hello. I wish it was rewarded, but then again, like maybe it wouldn't help. One second. Oh, it's a Friday. Sorry. Um, your dreams have been wild the last few nights. What? At least it grew my brain. Yeah, but I was looking for something to grow, like my video game collection, or you know. Anyway, I don't remember the dream I had last night. I remember the dream I had the night before last. Or was that the dream I had last night? No, I had that dream a few days ago, a few nights ago. Um, I was telling Reem about it. Speaking of telling Reem about it, it all factors in. It's kind of sort of related to what I was saying last time I was live with how the serpent reading that Reem did, the sea serpent reading broke down for me and how I view the energy. Um, so like when I was talking about how anger and frustration and irritation can break down for several reasons. One of the reasons, especially when I was able to recognize it in that way, that it broke down is because it was motivating me to do something. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be so petty that like I do that. Which is why this is also interesting because this kind of sort of came up for my husky friend when Rob was live earlier and the Knight of Wands came out. Um, and it's interesting because I've been going back and forth about like it's like I feel fiery and motivated to do something or say something. And then when the time comes to do it or say it, like I'll feel bad and I'll start to like um I don't want to say like get overly compassionate, but it's like the fire will die down and then the waters will surge and I'm like, oh, but, like I'll be overly understanding to the point where it could probably very easily just like wash out any kind of boundary or just like not be good for me. And so there have been opportunities, especially in certain areas, certain areas and facets of my life. Um, very like 10th housey energy, which is interesting because I have Uranus and Neptune in my 10th house in Capricorn. No, they're my ninth house. Hold up. My Saturn isn't. What's in my 10th house? Is my 10th house empty? My Uranus and Neptune are in my ninth house, like 4 degrees away from my 10th house. They're I guess they're in a loose conjunction with my ascendant in Capricorn. Pluto is in my 10th house transiting. Because Pluto's in late Capricorn. So late Capricorn, early Aquarius is my 10th house. I wonder if Saturn is in my 10th house right now. One second. Yeah, my 10th house is just Vesta, Icarus, and Pallas. Wow, my 11th house starts 16 degrees Aquarius. So both Pluto and Saturn are transiting my 10th house. Excuse me. 10th house is career. So it's career. It's also in the vein of like it being your ascendant, not ascendant, your midheaven. It can kind of sort of be like how you're known. Like if your rising ascendant is your first impression, the 10th house can be like what you're known for or how you're known to like be. You know what I mean? I think I'm not an astrologer, so take that with a grain of salt. You took in a family of 5 kids and you were salty about it. Ozzy Osbourne tarot cards. What? And they exist. Did you order them though, Eve? That's the real question. That's the real question. Because if not, I think your dream was telling you to. So maybe there's some message that your guides want to communicate to you through the Ozzy Osbourne tarot deck. Maybe, you never know. It could be the next series, right? Go from Tom Petty to Ozzy Osbourne. Um, but yeah, like every time I would get super fiery, I'd be fiery for a minute and then I get watery. And I would be like, but, excuse me. So the thing that came up, um, it's out of print. What? We got to get it for you somehow. Um, so I was catching up with Reem and Russ the other night, and um, was that the day Russ did the Celtic Cross workshop? Um, but anyway, it came out somewhere in the spread. Like, a thing that I do a lot is that, like, I'll do stuff with other people as the motivating reasoning factor. And not necessarily in any certain way, but it's like my moon is in Taurus. And one of my love languages, I guess, is like gift giving. Like, I love to give gifts. I don't necessarily like to receive them. There was a little bit that was like for a minute, I didn't really have the financial means to reciprocate. So like I couldn't get anybody else anything. Um, but even still, it's just like for me, I get pleasure out of being like, oh, I saw this and I thought of you, or oh, like I want to get this for you. Sometimes I am like, I want to experience this with you, so I'll pay for it, but you're doing this with me. And I don't force anybody to do anything, of course. Um, but anyway, like one of the things that just like overarching Patrick's life story as I'm in my 28th year, I was born on the 28th, so it's my golden year as I get nearer and nearer to my Saturn return. Um, it's like I didn't think for 23 and a half, 24, nearly 25 years of my 28-year life that I would ever be in a position to help or support my family. I thought I would be the one who needed it because of my eye condition, right? And I realized yesterday, the day before, especially within the past few, like it hit me yesterday or the day before, that part. But I've been in this space for the past brief moment of being able to like help out family and being able to like, It's like I feel like doing something nice, so I'm just gonna do it because I have the means to right now. And I love that I can do that. But when I was in that reading, and this is going back to like my guides, like the universe, they know how I work, right? This is another thing that I'll do. Um, I was like, I feel like I do a lot of stuff for other people, or I take joy in like being able to do stuff for other people. And I feel like my universe or spirit is like asking me what I want for me. And so for a moment, and it's not that there isn't any truth in that, um, but for a moment, it was like I need to do stuff for me. I can't make my reasons about anybody else. But because of events, because of events, who is this? The Nine of Wands is behind this Knight of Wands. Because of this energy, Five of Swords and the Knight of Wands. I was like, you know what? The reason why I'm doing this is because, and like, I had that realization. I was like, oh my gosh, I can provide and support and help out when I thought I'd be nothing but a burden. Like, look at how that worked around. Wow, I'm really glad I kept living life. Um, it's like I had that moment, and then 2 days later, or a few days later, I'm like, really having this question of like, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing? Do I want to continue doing what I'm doing where I am? Is me doing what I'm doing where I am worth the hassle that I have to encounter because of one person in particular when I could just be done with it? When I could just be over it? And so when I saw my mom, I was like, you're the reason. I was like, I need, I was like, I need retail therapy. I was like, I need to go and get you something that you want. I need it because right now, like, I'm working for you and I'm working for everybody else. Because if it were just me, I would be like, I'm done. I'll find something. Something will come just like this came. Something better. Something more aligned. Um, and so not to go back on again, like everything that, and for me, this is kind of sort of playing into facing irritation and frustration with that sea serpent reading. From what I got from the sea serpent reading, with the resurgence of a primordial force within me that is my love for giving and my love for being able to support, especially when I didn't think I'd be able to do it. And so in my mind, it's like me being able to do that is more, it holds a lot more weight than the irritation that I face, right? Especially now. And so with that Knight of Wands against the Five of Swords and with the world is just there. Um, but it's like instead of just leaving, I can like establish a firmer boundary and just be like, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And outside of that, like I don't experience and I haven't been experiencing a lot of like irritation or frustration. Honestly, I kind of sort of reached the point where I was over it. Like any of the water that I had to give to like just drain dry. It's just fire. It's like dry earth with a fire raging underneath. Not raging underneath, but it's like dry earth and fire. One second. Oof. Sorry. Um yeah, like learning to receive isn't necessarily difficult for me because I've honestly received all my life. I've had friends who give me stuff that I can't reciprocate in the way that they gave it, but I reciprocate in other ways. It's not difficult, it just doesn't bring me like as much joy as giving. I mean, it does to a certain degree. Like if someone's like, "Hey, like I got this for you." I mean, like what is it's not words of affirmation. I guess it is words of affirmation is another one of my love languages. And so like if I get something and then it's attached to something written especially, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. So I do like to receive, but I like to give more question mark. I like them both, but in different ways. So, Earth and fire, welcome to my world. Help me find the water. Where'd the water go? I mean, Scorpio is water. I'm kidding. Um, and so I guess I had that moment where, again, it's like it's everything in balance. It's everything to a certain extent, but it's like it's okay for me to enjoy what my decisions and path have put me in the space to enjoy. And um and to not, I mean, like, long story short, it's just like I feel like another thing that that gave me, besides me learning how to like come into whatever I need to come into and set and establish boundaries, and learning that just because I can empathize with somebody and just because I can be compassionate doesn't mean that I necessarily have to, whatever. Um, but again, I feel like more than that, it's like it's almost like that's an okay reason to want to do something, or a part of the reason at least. Like, don't get me wrong, there are also things that I love to do for myself, but I feel like I've kind of reached. I don't want to say I've reached the end of my desires, because there are still things that I desire, but in large ways, I feel like I haven't had a desire that's gone unmet. I feel like I used to want a lot of things. Or maybe not a lot. I mean, I feel like just over recent years, I just don't want as much as I used to. Um, and so, because I was thinking, I was like, at least with how things are right now, if I factor out all of the things that I've been acting like don't exist, I'm content and I'm very satisfied. Um, Again, like if I wasn't living with my parents, like if I had my own place, then that would come with, a whole set of additional costs, which might stress the finances a little more or whatever. But it's like I'm very content with where I am. There isn't much that I feel I desire. And again, it's like if there's something that I want, I have the capability to get it for the most part. You know, there are things that money can't buy. There are things that money could buy, but that money won't buy. Mind your business. Um, but yeah, and so because there is a part of me that wants to be in a position. There's a part of me that's always wanted to be in that position. Um, Even when I was younger, like I would think this is how like probably Pisces I am. When I was younger, I would think like if I could have any superpower, I would want to have the power to give people second chances. Or I would, oh gosh, I might get emotional. Ooh, I was like, I would want to have the power to like make somebody's dream come true, to like change somebody's life for the better. Um, and so for me, that is something that is more primordial. That is something that's closer to the core of who I am. So like I was saying last time, it's like as the angers, what I was taking from the sea serpent reading, it's like as the angers and frustrations and irritations subside, it's maybe because, or it might be because of the rising of other things. And it's like, well, what's more important? You know what I mean? So I think I got around to communicating everything that I wanted to communicate in a way that I've communicated it. And I kind of love this. I actually love this. It's almost like Eve's Pisces reading for the minor irritations, which is so funny. And like I literally, like the dots literally just connected in my brain. Um but it's like the reverse almost, because on the top I have the 2 of Cups and the 10 of Cups, the gorgeous energy, and then on the bottom it's the World and the 5 of Swords. And it's like you can see how minor this is compared to like everything else. I don't want to spoil the reading, but it was like the top row was the irritation, and then the second row was Pisces energy. And like honestly, I feel like I've been seeing the Empress card so much lately, which I'm completely fine with. Like, I got Taurus moon and rising, and my Jupiter's in Libra, so I got some good Venusian energy. My old planetary ruler is in the space of Libra, and my moon is in Taurus. Um, but anyway, that was basically it. I feel like I was gonna do something or say something to try to tie it in some way, or to try to make it a little bit maybe more accessible. Excuse me, but for me personally, that's kind of sort of where I've been, which is it's a nice space to be in. It's one I feel like I've been. It's almost like pushing through a veil, I guess, but not really. Kinda. I feel like I've been like trying to like I've been crowning into this energy as I've been like wading through stuff. You know what I mean? Not wading in a way of like, well, sometimes it kind of was waiting, gliding, making my way downtown, walking fast, walking slow, sometimes not walking at all, and sniffing the roses and the flowers. Um, yeah, there's a lot of things that money can't buy. Virgo, Aries, Sag, Leo, Virgo, Virgo. Wait, your North Node is in Sagittarius? We both have a North Node in Sagittarius. Wait, I think I knew that. I'm pretty sure I knew that actually. I think I remember that now. Uh, but yeah, so back to these 9 degrees of Saturn-paration. Let's see. I'm gonna put these back. I'm gonna shuffle them 3 times. Oof. My head has been weird for like weeks now. But it is what it is. There is a part of me that though that's just like, I want to be so petty. And I'll cut it in half and I'll pull the card off the bottom. I'm just gonna see what the card at the bottom is. Ooh. What is this deck doing? The lovers? Okay. 2 of Cups, 10 of Cups, Ace of Swords, lovers. Right? I didn't think that Saturn was supposed to do this. But I think that's another thing. Like I'm in my golden year, coming up on my Saturn return. It's just like I did enough within the past 3. 19 plus 3 is 22. Oh my gosh. Within the past 3 years to like not back down from anything now. Um, it's just like not in me at this point. Like I always say, like I want too much and I'm not going back. So okay, now give this a cut. Bottom of this deck is the Eight of Cups. This is interesting. This is gonna go in the middle. What's interesting though is it's like the moon looks high in the sky. I guess I mean it feels like a sunrise though. It's like beyond the moon is the sun, right? And it's like that's this light. It's heading in that direction. And so it feels like talking about what? The thing, the whole like the primordial surging and rising, and it sort of helping to calm and ease certain things because of greater, grander perspective. Um, it almost feels a little bit Six of Cupsy. I don't know. Like my brain is what my brain is today. I said that in the beginning, so I'm gonna try to communicate this thought. Um, but it's like there are things, since this is personal, sun moon seems like a reversible message. Ooh, Eve, my brain. You're gonna have to give me a little more today. This is so. Are my glasses just? This happened. Oh, ooh, these glasses are filthy. I was like, if I take my glasses off, I can see myself better. But through my glasses, my camera look a little blurry. My glasses were filthy. That's why. That's better. Do I even need these at this point? Sure. Um, it feels like there are things to go back and clear up. Maybe there are things to remember, like what's actually important to me. Maybe there's an old dream that I used to have. Um, there is. Oh, okay. Well, see, this is why I need more Virgo in my chart because there are things that I like Pisces want to do that I can like with all the other placements in my chart, I can like navigate towards a path at getting started, but that I just don't start. And I need to do that. That is something that has been important to me for a while, even though the logistics I don't know, but I don't have to know. Um, anyway, I guess for like the sake of transparency or whatever, not that I owe it to anybody. Um, like I've since I was applying for scholarships. So like junior year of high school, I've always wanted to be able to have one. Um, I mean, you can probably imagine why when I was like, oh yeah, I do. It's funny you should mention that because I was literally thinking, I was like, I want to go live and like have the people in the chat tell me what deck to use. And then you suggested the vice versa. Do I remember where they are though? I do. Give me 1 second to reach down and grab them. A lot of things are going to be shifting and moving. I can do this. And I'll continue to talk. Like I'm gonna have a scholarship fund just to like help somebody Like, at least like get books. You know what I mean? Maybe get a laptop or something like that. This is gonna be interesting. Woo! Hold up. Oh my gosh, it's literally right here. Okay. Is this? This is not the vice versa. Hold up. It's right here. I have the before, after, and in between tarot. I use the in between, but I like don't even use the before and after. I should use those at some point. Oh my gosh, the Tarot Apocalypse is. I have so many decks that I love that I like don't even use, but also at the same time, I feel like I'm like not really going live like I was before either. So life comes at you fast, kid. Somebody said in some movie, I'm sure. There we go. Whew. Oh, just like read the book about the sun moon thing? Is there a thing in here about? Oh gosh, that's way more. I'm up here like, hold up. I'm up here like zooming in and panning so y'all can't see like I guess my bed isn't like too terrible, but so that y'all can't see the state of the room that I live in. Cause I gotta move everything just to like set everything up. So hey Steph, how you doing? Oof. Wow, call me out. Call me out. Just gonna do me like that. Hold up. What? Okay, that was weird. I'm back. How you doing, Steph? So am I looking in the book for the sun moon? Was there a card with the sun on one side and the moon on the other? I know the Eight of Cups. Speaking of the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Cups I don't really like in this deck. It kind of creeps me out. I can read this one. A cloaked and hooded man turns his back and walks away from 8 golden chalices. He bears a pilgrim's walking staff, as his journey will be long and arduous. The cups he is abandoning are cracked, chipped, and dented. From the way they are stacked, it appears that one is missing. Perhaps the hooded man is carrying it away with him under his cloak. A metallic sun and moon stare impassively over the scene. I don't think that was it. Maybe the backside of the sun and moon. Okay. Thank you, Eve. I appreciate you helping me. So the backside of the moon is the one with the boobs. The backside of the moon is actually an eclipse. And it's this. This is the backside of the moon. I used to see that. This is the front of the moon. I was thinking about the moon card. I saw one of my brother's friends. I ran into him in the store the other day. We ran into him. I was with my brother. And on the back of his jacket, he had a moon card. And I was like, that's where I saw the moon. But I was also thinking about it for some reason. Something about a dog and a wolf, but um mm, Let's see. So the backside of the moon, is that a song or an album? The Dark Side of the Moon, is that Pink Floyd? I don't know music. The moon has passed between the earth and the sun, putting the sun into full eclipse. The day sky fills with stars. Near the horizon, the constellation Cancer is seen. It seems to float above the head of the woman rising from the water, just as the crab rose on the other side of the card. The moon towers are shown to be open at the back, as with the tower card, but there is no rubble, no sense of destruction here. These towers were intentionally built to both reveal and conceal, one side open, one side closed. The imagination has free flow in the place of dreams and visions. The cycles of the moon are reflected in the cycles of women, and thus the moon card is a card of feminine power. The woman here is the dark side of the high priestess, offering an initiation of sorts, a choice between a bowl of phosphorescent seawater and a glowing egg. Which are you most drawn to, and what does that tell you about your psyche? Remember, rational solar thinking has no place here. The moon's shadow has turned day into night. And then the back of the sun, oh, snap. So one of the interesting things about, or I guess the back of the sun, because on both sides of the moon card we see the tower, but it's only in the back of the sun card that we see like that obelisk, which could be a tower, because that's the back of the sun, and then in the front of the sun we don't see that tower. But with the moon, we see it on the back. On the back, it's revealed that the towers are open. There we go. The towers are open on the back. On the front, they're closed. See? Okay. It is Pink Floyd? Okay, thank you. The sun has set, and the sky begins to fill with stars. Each one also a sun. So there we go. Stars. Something about stars. As the darkness comes, the child and horse take comfort in each other and in the sure knowledge that the turning of the earth will bring the sunlight back again. An obelisk raised to the sun god Ra honors him as Lord of all creation. A walled fortress stands at the border of the sun children's garden, with armored guards standing sentinel. The land beyond the wall is mountainous and challenging, though beautiful. The ever optimistic sun child will still venture forth to spread the light. The sun card is positive on both sides, with the difference here being that your doubts and fears are justified. It's good to be aware of challenges, to be on your guard. But again, as on the other side of the card, all will be well. Keep moving forward, expand upon your plans to include contingencies for the darker times, but remember that morning will always come again. So that's the backside of the hey Kathy, hey Twitty, how you doing? How are you? Yeah, wait. The Empress card in I know Russ just did he's doing Healing Chiron question mark series because something is in front of the star for Pegasus in my brain. Pegasus is featured in the series of readings that Russ is doing right now. The constellation. Um, but in Eve's Pisces reading, there was the white horse on the shield, and it mentioned something Pegasus. Um, that almost triggered a memory that I don't remember. I gotta watch it, Twitty. I haven't seen it yet. Ooh, it's getting cold. It's interesting that the back of the card says it has an obelisk to honor Ra, because in the Lover's card, these two, like, there are hieroglyphics on this Lover's card. And on the top of these two pillars are birds that are very like Egyptian in theme. I don't know if it'll focus. Or am I gonna have to get like real close? There you go. You see? They're Egyptian in theme. And this one has the sun actually in its hand on its wing. Interesting. That's your next series inspired by Russ. Hey. It was, yeah, I think she like posted it. I think I saw it go live as I was like pulling up this to go live. So the first degree of Saturn-paration, like separation, Saturn-paration. I got to get through these. I haven't even started. It's the Seven of Swords, going from 9 degrees of separation as it's applying my Saturn return all the way to 0. And I think like when my Saturn return is direct, Jupiter will be conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. And the North Node will be on my moon. No, Jupiter and Neptune are conjuncting on top of my Mercury in Pisces. So that's happening. What? Oh, I gotta what? Hold up. Hold up. Wait, hold up. I gotta go. I got like 5 minutes. Oh, wait. So I'm just gonna do this quick. I guess no. I'm gonna leave it. Am I gonna leave it? Oh gosh. Oh. Wait, what? Darn it, Ty. I just made an assumption. Leave what? Leave what? Leave this? Hey Siri, flip a coin. Tails. I didn't even say. Literally, like every time I tell Siri to flip a coin now, I do the opposite. I do what I really want to do. I'm gonna keep doing this. So we'll see. So the Seven of Swords. This is interesting. It's interesting that he's holding 5 swords because the 5 of Swords came out earlier. There's something about this though. It feels like a very expansive energy. You can't even see it. Like he's taking these 5 swords and he's like leaving the birdcage. Now my camera is super blurry. Hello. You see, like the world is a lot bigger outside, which is also interesting because you see like the mountains in the back. And on the back of the sun card, it talked about the mountains beyond that path. And it's like, there'll be challenges, but rest assured that, like, what did it say? I'll just read it. Keep moving forward. Expand upon your plans to include contingencies for the darker times, but remember that morning will always come again. It's good to be aware of challenges, to be on your guard, but again, all will be well. Oof. I feel like Aqua Regis Blue? What? Aqua Regis Blue? I feel like my world is about to get a lot bigger. Oof. And so the card that came out is the Knight of Swords to clarify it. And there's something about this Knight of Swords that is very like reaching the edge of understanding because it's standing on the cliff and then the bird flies and it's almost like it's time to fly. It's time for this horse to sprout wings and become Pegasus, a Pegasus, which again is interesting because the back of the Sun card. But it's interesting because that I feel like that's the energy of the catch. Excuse me. It's like this mountainous path is going to be extremely difficult. And this is something that I've kind of sort of found here and there along my journey a little bit. It's like this mountainous path is going to be super difficult, it's going to be super challenging, but know that all will be well. And then like in this Night of Horse energy, and then the horse sprouts wings. So the mountainous path is challenging because it's a mountainous path, but your slash my way of transversing that is not by land. So it doesn't matter if it's a mountain or a valley or a chasm or a plain. The horse flies over all of it just as easily. The only thing that might make it difficult with a mountain is if the mountain creates one of those walls where it alters the way that the wind flows, right? As the wind is like bounce as it pushes off. Interesting. So the eighth degree of Saturn-paration is the Ace of Pentacles. So that energy of like the world is about to get a whole lot bigger. It's like taking the swords and like leaving this bird cage to find the Ace of Pentacles. I've only got until April. Raya, what's up? How are you doing? Exactly. Aluvis. What is Aluvis? Yeah, I'm like very it's very exciting and anxiety causing sometimes. Not anxiety like I'm gonna get anxiety, but it's like nervous excitement. There you go. Why did I pick up this book? This is clarified by the Tower. This is the Tower card I was talking about. Because in this deck, there's no lightning bolt that strikes the Tower. There's only the guy flying out or falling out. So it feels like he actually triggered an explosion in the tower and then he like left. That's how this card feels to me. So what this does on top of the previous one is that it emphasizes choice. The lovers is choice. It's making choices. And it's choices that have the power to completely alter and affect our lives in many areas and facets for a significant ish period of time. And so, if the Lovers is about choices and the Eight of Cups is here, then the reasons and the motivations behind some of the choices and why I make, behind why I make some of the choices that I make are there. And that's what this next degree is sort of about. And then that makes the Seven of Cups feel like, because the Two of Swords are lying on the ground inside the cage and they're being left. And it does feel like there's a certain amount of indecision or back and forth that has to be eliminated to more fully experience more and newer to greater and greater levels. And there is a little bit, because it doesn't look like that horse is stopping. So what may feel like blind faith is the horse about to sprout wings. It's the birth of a Pegasus. Ryan Reynolds, what? Okay. Cue anxious face, right? Ooh, I gotta go to the restroom. I haven't seen Free Guy yet. I wanted to. I think it's supposed to, like, somebody was telling me about the Truman Show, and then I looked up a little bit of stuff about the Truman Show, and then that's when I started to see trailers and stuff for Free Guy. I was like, oh, is this like the Truman Show? But I've never seen the Truman Show or Free Guy, so I wouldn't know personally. This is like a dramatic exit, though. And that pentacle is heavy. So I'm going back, right? 987. The seventh degree is the Three of Swords. Oh, this is an interesting one. What? Holly didn't know Ryan Reynolds was in the movie? I mean, maybe um there's a reason. But like Ryan Reynolds, yeah, he was, where did I first see Ryan Reynolds? I know he was in The Proposal, but I feel like I saw him before The Proposal. But yeah, like he it's like all about him. He popped up. I was like, oh, okay, that's Ryan Reynolds. The Three of Swords. Let's get the mini clarifier on this. The Three of Swords with the Nine of Pentacles. I mean, this, it just feels like it would be a, like, you can't take everybody energy. Um it feels a little dichotomous almost. And that, like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. One moment. Sorry. And I'm gonna do this time so it doesn't mess up my camera settings. All right. I'm back. So, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Be safe, Twitty. I'm glad for that bathroom break. So, I think following up with the Tower and the Ace of Pentacles, um, it feels like there may be a part. This Three of Swords is interesting. It almost feels like it's very like realizing like trauma responses is the easiest way to put it. I feel like it's the most concise and it's the most concise and whatever way to say it. But it feels like with this Ace of Cups and with the with the Eight of Cups, and with it being that energy of like realizing some things that maybe weren't great. But it's clarified by the Nine of Pentacles, which is interesting. It doesn't feel like it's motivated by it, but maybe there's a certain element of alchemy being the easiest way to put it. Um, it's like turning pain into something or using the past, the not too great past, in a way to provide, not to provide a stability. It's very like a fertilizer compost. It's like, the old leaves fall to the ground to fertilize it as they're broken down by decomposers like mushrooms and other funguses that put nutrients into the soil to help new plants grow, type of energy. I think there also is another part where it's like the going back to that dichotomous energy. It's like just because you leave the birdcage or because I leave the birdcage, like doesn't make the birdcage stop existing. Like you can be in the world outside of the birdcage, but the world inside of the birdcage is still there. And it's easiest to see that as a difference of experiences. Or maybe there is a certain like branching and splitting, because it almost feels like each degree of the Saturn-paration brings a new challenge. It's like the next step. It's like first you do this and then you do that and then you do the other thing. So maybe it might be that like if I can't make the decision, and this is like I feel like this is very like accurate for what I've heard of a Saturn return could be. It's like if I don't make the decision to like expand my horizons, to discover the world beyond the world I know, and to break down and dissolve whatever I need to break down and dissolve with that tower energy to experience more and more and more of the Ace of Pentacles world, then it's gonna lead to a Three of Swords or a Nine of Pentacles. And I almost for a second, it's like, um, because for a hot minute, so much of my journey has been like, I don't want to go back to being the depressed mess that I was. And I don't want to go back to blah, blah, blah. And I feel like where I am now, I don't. actively carry the same sentiments. Like, I feel like I don't use that to motivate me as much as just like, I want to experience more. I want to experience new. I feel like I'm on a like I'm already living a lot of stuff that I didn't think I would, and it's pretty nice. And so I think that motivation has actually sort of switched a little bit. And if I can be of the mind to, because you see how it's darker around the heart, like it's darker back here. It almost feels like this could open up, and then the Three of Swords just like goes through the portal, and the portal closes, the sky clears, and then it's like Nine of Pentacles. And that was also a thing when it came with to the lovers, especially with the lovers being choices in the Eight of Cups. It's like what motivates you. And I just talked about this when I said that I don't want for conflict and contention to be the things to motivate me to do whatever I need or want to do. Right. It's like I shouldn't have to get in a fight or argument with somebody to be like, now I'm going to go do something with my life just so that I don't have to be around you and I'll be good. You know what I mean? So that'll be Saturn. What's that's it? 23. It's 23, right? Yeah, it's 23. This is the seventh degree. So that's at 16. Math 16 plus 7 is 23, right? Yeah. Yeah. So when Saturn is at 16 degrees of Aquarius, my Jupiter is 13 degrees Libra. Saturn is trying to my Jupiter right now. I'm trying to see what else it'll interact with. Natally in my chart. My South Node is 17 degrees Gemini. So it'll be trining my South Node tighter. The trine on my South Node will be tightening, and the sextile on my North Node will also be tightening. So that could be a time to just like beware of old habits and patterns and behavioral responses and choices that have roots in old traumatic responses. Oof, my head is kind of hurting. That's kind of sort of I like when I first got into astrology, I got like I didn't get like in it, but I did get like degrees, minutes. I look at the seconds, but I don't necessarily like factor them in. So- but like I know my chart. I don't know if I know all of the degrees and minutes. I don't know all the minutes. I can tell you that for sure. But I might know most of my degrees and their placements, but I'm like astro crazy for a second. So the fourth, wait, I'm working backwards. 9876. The sixth degree brings the emperor. Yeah. It brings the emperor. Which is interesting because the emperor was one of my overall cards for 2021. Which is also interesting because when Rob pulled my golden year, the emperor was I think one of the first two cards that came out, it was the Emperor and the Moon, were the two cards he pulled for me for this year of my life, basically. And I feel like it's definitely been Emperor in some ways up until now. But I mean, this is after I turned 29 when I have my exact conjunction. Actually, hold up, because this is before that conjunction that conjunction actually happens. So it might still be in year 28 where it's like it's time to show up. But the Emperor is important because the Emperor has a certain charge and it has a certain authority. And whenever you slash me, whenever how I want me to be, I don't want me to be navigated. I don't want me to be motivated or so easily and so heavily influenced by past things that don't even matter. And one of the ways that I chose to, and because I chose to, I am now actively combating some of that, is when it comes to me doing the things that I have to do now. When I was like, oh, like I'm doing this that I've never done. It's like I'm doing all of these things that I've never done before. Go back to a few months ago when I was like freaking out about it. And I was like, maybe I should just quit rather than like face a fear and a challenge and a potential limitation. And I was like, no, I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to tough it out because I don't want to be that person anymore. That was like 24 years of my life, limited by fears that, given enough life, never came true because the situation wasn't what I thought it was. There were things that I didn't know. And maybe this is a good reflection point. You call it a flapjack chart. What? I have like my planets are all over the place. Um, oh, I had the thought. I lost it. I don't want to be motivated by that anymore. Maybe that was the thing with overcoming the Three of Swords. Because there's almost something about making the conscious choice and effort to overcome, to see something through, that I discover how much of a limitation it no longer is. And because I allow myself the opportunity to experience it firsthand in real life, especially going back to the Ace of Pentacles, experiential things, it's like I get to know firsthand, like, this is no longer a limitation. This is no longer a fear that I need to hold on to. So not only does it like serve to like motivate me or to like make me grateful or to help me be grateful, um, but it's like I'm already doing things that I didn't think I'd be capable of doing. And so in some ways my Knight of Swords horse is already a Pegasus because I'm already traveling paths that were those difficult mountains. I lived enough to experience a change and shift in circumstance to the point where they wouldn't be as much of a burden and hassle as I thought they were in the past. With the Tower and the Ace of Pentacles being here. And the Tower isn't even necessarily in this instance anything bad. It's just like an unforeseen happening that has the power to completely rewrite an experience from the fundamental level, which happened. Why did I pull out my phone? Oh, yeah, I was looking to see what's that? Because it's 14, 15, 16, 17. On my birthday, I'll do 2 days before my birthday because it's easier. Saturn will be 18 degrees. So this was 14, 15, 16, 17. So yeah, this will happen before my golden year is over. It's like I'll need to be in that Emperor energy. And I feel like for the most part, I already am, as far as I'm capable of, as far as I know. The last thing being, or one of the biggest motivators for me being more firmly in it, the stuff I'm dealing with now, balancing the water and the fire, because This situation, water's been exhausted. We don't need any more water. It's time for fire. It's time for air, and always earth. Um, your houses are an upside down mirror of the standard astrology. So, are you a Libra rising instead of an Aries rising? Because then that'll like cause everything to flip, right? Because then you'll have Libra in your first house instead of having Libra in your seventh house. And then your second house will be Scorpio instead of your second house being Taurus. Is that what you're talking about? She has Benjamin Button's chart. Yeah, and I do remember when Russ did you are okay. I'm a Taurus rising, but I have Libra and Aries in conjuncted in my chart. So my houses are off until they're like they line up. Um but that's what my 10th house cusping in Capricorn, my 11th house cusping in Aquarius. No, no, no. Yeah. And my 12th house cusping in Pisces. Yeah, yeah. Because I have Cancer and Capricorn on two houses. So Capricorn is my house 9 and 10. Cancer is my house 3 and 4. So then I get Cancer on the 4, Leo on the 5. But Libra's in conjuncted. So I get Virgo on the 6 and then Scorpio on the 7 because Libra, it's like squeezed in that house. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway. You read on Forever Consciousness that it was a black water tiger year. I have no clue. I barely know water tiger. So, but I do remember Russ saying, for since I'm a water rooster, the water tiger could push the water out of balance. So maybe it'll be too easy to get swept up away. Somebody said rest, not rest. Reem. Reem said something about temperance between water and fire. Um, what's the tiny card? Oh, the little card is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups for the Emperor. This feels so like make your dreams come true. Or it's very like being in a position to make the choices and decisions to make dreams come true, which is interesting because I was talking about the resurgence of those primordial personal forces. One of those being like me wanting or wishing that I had the power to give people second chances or to help make their dreams come true, right? And so it's almost like the rising of all of the things that were suppressed because of the Three of Swords in the past. And it's being in a position to see them come back to the surface because of towers that happened that led to getting more and more and more outside of old experiences. But with the Seven of Swords carrying five, it by itself, because it's the Five of Swords, it's a little harsh. It can be. But five is also a number of change. And wouldn't five swords be needed to experience a new world? If you leave the birdcage, wouldn't you need a mind that can take in new information, especially in a space where you're so much less restricted? And just like in general, it feels like a lot of like seedy, shady Seven of Swords behavior has been profitable for a lot of people because of what wasn't seen and what was done under the table and behind closed doors and but now with everything coming more and more and more to the light, and being more made more public, and it being just more like, now that the awareness is like increasing, it's almost like it'll be difficult to accomplish the same things using the same means because the space and the environment is different, because people are different, and because people ask for and sometimes demand more, right? But to make this more about me, because that's what this is. If you missed it in the beginning, this is me. But if it resonates for you, then of course take it, right? Um, and so a change maker's card, yeah. And then the three is a catalyst. And I love that. I love that because that fits perfectly. The Three of Swords being a catalytic energy that leads to the Nine of Pentacles is perfect for everything I was talking about with the Five of Swords, the World card, and the Knight of Wands. And if you've been looking at my channel for the past minute and you heard me talk about work, it's perfect. Because the Three of Swords, it's like it's a difficult and challenging situation that is what it is. But with the Nine of Pentacles clarifying, it's again, it's like it gives me, you, us, whoever resonates, the opportunity to make something more from that situation. With the situation being a catalyst, it is what it is. And it's not necessarily about changing the situation. It's about what happens because of that, what transpires or precipitates after that situation occurs. Which is, again, I don't think I said it, it came up earlier. It's like, it's not about the person, it's not about the situation. It's what happens because of it, what we choose because of it. And then with the Emperor following that, it's almost like the weight and the burden of choice and what choice has the power to do in our lives, more so than the Lovers card. And it's kind of what the Emperor does, right? They make choices and decisions that have the power to affect an entire empire of people, choices and decisions that they are responsible for. And so in that way, it's almost like the emperor is in a space of making choices and decisions that will better like the lives of the children in his empire. It's almost like that will like make like leave the world a better place, or like being cognizant of the world that we leave for our descendants to inherit. Even if you don't have your own children, right? You still do things to the world that, or you impact people in the world in a way that other people who come after you might have to deal with. And it's, I mean, it's the emperor. Because it's the emperor, it almost is like the buck stops here. It doesn't matter who did it or who started it. What matters is like what I'm going to do to move forward, or what we're going to do again. So Patrick is not writing the script for what? The Catalyst of the Three sounds like a cool movie title. It does kind of. Yeah. I kind of like that. The world is the emperor's oyster, exactly. But with the Six of Cups, it does really bring in an energy that's like, be mindful of those that come later. And that's just like almost, it's like an understanding of the element of earth. If the emperor is the king of all kings, he's also the king of pentacles. And with him being the king of pentacles, but also the king of wands and the king of swords, it's like, depending on the environment, fire can cause damage that takes many, many, many years for the earth to recover from. Winds can cause damage that take many, many, many years for the earth to recover from. And water can cause damage that take many, many, many years to recover from, if the earth ever recovers. Some things are just gone, some things are just lost. But just as all of those elements can cause destruction, they can also cause growth in the many ways. Like it's wind that carries the seeds that spread fields of flowers and trees and plants, right? It's water that nourishes and carries coconuts downstream. And it's fire that clears out the old, puts nutrients into the soil, and makes space for the new. And so there is an understanding of both sides of that coin. Who's at the top of this? Should be Aries, right? Yeah, it's Aries because it's the Emperor. It's interesting though because I don't know what this is in his hand, but it's like it's coming out of the jug of Aquarius. Is that Scorpio? No, that's Sagittarius. No, that's Sagittarius. Who is this? That's Aquarius. That's Sagittarius. That's Gemini. Pisces. Capricorn. That's Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn is like completely blocked by that thing, but it's like the brown thing is it's right on Aquarius, head on Aries. Anyway. Interesting. Hey flights, how you doing? It would be in Japanese. Holly, you know me well. Matthew could do the soundtrack. Oh, thank you, Twitty. And if it resonates for you, then take it for you how it unfolds for you. Um, that's something that I feel like as I've navigated my journey and challenges on my journey, I've gotten to see about myself. The way I kind of sort of process things in the world and the way I was and tend to go through rewriting or rewiring certain things. Um, so that was 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So the fifth degree of Saturn-paration is the Knight of Cups, which is interesting. It's interesting because everything seems so Knight of Wands right now, right? And so it's almost like what? Oh, well, thanks. I think, Twitty. The easiest, like the easiest thing to grab, it's like Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands now, and I can go back to being Knight of Cups later. It's like I can care when I'm where I want to be. When I'm good, I can care about other people. Which I mean, going back to that dichotomous energy, um, of like even when you're outside of the bird cage, there are bird cages all over the place. And sometimes you're gonna pass a bird in the cage. And the bird in the cage is gonna squawk at you or do whatever birds in cages do at you. And it's not to not care. Honestly, I'm gonna pull the little one. Oh wow, the devil. Okay. This is not what I was expecting. This is the fifth degree. So this is the boundary. So for people, I guess in general, um, a lot of what I've seen when I started to get into astrology was you have the ability to pluck cherries. That's perfect. Um, oh no, I got a pressure in my nose, Eve. Like I got a sneeze on. I had a thing where I was like almost sneezing, but I didn't sneeze. Like almost a few hours at the beginning of the day. I was like, this is weird. Um, 10 degrees is like loose. 5 degrees is when it's like really starting to when you really feel the energy. So with this being the 9876 fifth degree, this is where like Saturn real like where that Saturn return pressure really starts to activate. And it's the Knight of Cups and the Devil. The Knight of Cups and the Devil coming after the Emperor and the Six of Cups. It feels like that's kind of like that'd be a low blow. Because it almost reads as like an energy that would try to play on my sympathies or an energy that would try to play on my compassion to take advantage of me or in like this is self, right? And that's one of the things I feel like in all of my years of journeying to this point, it's the thing that I'm learning most recently and that I'm really being put in a position to apply right now. It's that like having healthy boundaries. It's like it's okay to be compassionate, it's okay to be understanding, it's okay to be able to empathize, but it is almost like not being so gullible. And I'm a Pisces, so I like giving people the benefit of the doubt or whatever. You know what I mean? You just looked at your transits and went blind. There's cornfields around my hometown, Eve, but I never ran in them. Um, that wasn't something I did. Let me like I know I have, but that's the thing. I feel like maybe there are some ways in which I have changed that it takes a certain situation to make me aware of. Like all the little ways in which I've changed. All of the things that don't affect me as much as they used to. Unless you're talking about this, then it's like, see, but there honestly though, like there is a part of me that like I'm a Pisces, I'm mutable. I can be extremely caring and I can be like extremely cold. I can just be like, you chose this. You did this to yourself. I can also be like, that's not my problem. I don't care. There's more to me than just Pisces. And even in Pisces, because I know Cindy posted the reader on her community page that does sun moon combos. So I looked at Pisces, sun, Taurus, moon. I think it was that it might have been something else where somebody was like, Pisces can be real loving and Pisces can also be cold. And I was like, I always thought it was my Taurus moon on Algol, but maybe it's just Pisces. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a thing in particular. This could also be in the space of desire, right? What's interesting though, I don't know if I like this. You call it gulless instead of gullible. Is that what especially after watching Children of the Corn. Oh, she's not. Oh, never mind. Oh, well, none of us are perfect. I must have got lucky. I think she did say that her partner is a Pisces Sun Taurus Moon. She's like, he has this combo. So maybe she's just Gullah less. Oh, instead of gullible, like Gullah less. Gullah less. Gullah less. What's interesting though is it's like the Knight of Cups is carrying a cup, and the people here are on fire. I don't think that little cup is going to put out all that fire. And maybe that's something to be cognizant of and aware of. Almost like there are things that we can do for others, and there are things that we can't do for others, and there are things that we're not supposed to do for others either. Um, guileless? Are you saying guileless and not guileless? Like, yeah, so guileless. All right. Because I know like guile is a word, and I almost said it, but since I said gullible, I was just like guileless. What? What? She didn't even want her cat to have kittens during Virgo. Ooh. Hey, Apdern, how you doing? I don't know what's going. I never know what's going on. Well, what's going on? I'm doing a Saturn 9 degrees of Saturn-paration for my Saturn return coming up. Um, because I wanted to use the big and small Gilded Turo Royale cards, and it kind of hit me. I'm well. Thank you for asking. What is guile? Because I know guile is to trick or deceive, right? Hey Siri, define guile.
It means sly or cunning intelligence.
Yeah, sly or cunning intelligence. So guileless? Oof, my brain. My brain, Twitty. My brain. Honestly, I can get clarification, right? I'm allowed to do that. I make the rules. I'm going to pull a card from the vice versa since I have this deck out. Um, and I'm going to see because this one is a little perplexing. I mean, it's probably going to be mildly perplexing at least because I haven't lived this part of my life yet. That was immediate. Okay. And then the Ace of Cups flipped over. There's the Knight of Cups on the back, but it flipped over to the front. And we don't see the Knight of Cups on the front side. The card that immediately came out on top of the Devil with the Knight of Cups is Temperance. Temperance and the Ace of Cups. What's interesting about this Temperance card? I'm trying to think. I know the Angel. Does the Angel have 1 foot on the water and 1 foot not in the water? Because this Angel has both feet on the ground in this card. And then there's the mountain in the back, and the Angel has the wings to fly over that. What is going on with my computer? What is happening right now? Hello? It's like the screen is flashing or whatever. This could actually be surface? Especially if the Knight of Cups is a return. to me finally being more dominantly in my water energy rather than all this air and fire. Because I did say the Knight of Cups could be taking. So maybe it's like to give to the degree that we are, or for me to give to the degree and to the extent that I am supposed to. Because the way I was originally reading it, it was like give less, do less, because there are things that you can't do, or like don't do anything. But I think your video has that sometimes. Okay. I'm like, what? Yeah, screen flashes. I'm like, what is this? Um, it's temperance is for us to do what is for us to do. Mm, okay. We'll leave that one as is. And the Ace of Cups is here, right? And it's the day side of the Ace of Cups. And again, we see the mountains in the back, which is interesting. With the mountains in the back and the horses being Pegasi or Pegasuses or Pegasus, like Meese, with the horses being Pegasuses, maybe it is almost an energy of like, there'll be a certain space, maybe because of what I've personally gone through in my life. Maybe I'll meet somebody or I'll have an opportunity to share some of what I've gone through, but some of what like I've gotten out of what I've gone through. So instead of like sharing or speaking to like the hurt and the pain and like, oh, depressed Patrick, it's like from where I am now, maybe sharing that in a way to help someone who is still navigating their own mountains and challenges to not necessarily be like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but with this Ace of Cups fountain being nestled amongst these mountains, or maybe somebody will do it for me, right? I don't know. I haven't lived it yet. Somebody will have more access than somebody else, and the Knight of Cups is able to take from here and to give to someone or something like still working through the mountains with that devil energy. That's what it's feeling like. And temperance is like, it's to not do everything and it's to not do too much, but it's to not do anything either. It's not to do nothing, if that makes sense. A Pegasus. Bye bye, Miss Moonburn. Thank you, Raya. I'm still like, sometimes I like my balance. Sometimes when I'm in it, I'm like, oof. I'm learning to appreciate it more overall. Um, but also, I feel like I've reached. Sometimes I'll reach a point of fire within my water where it's like I was watery enough. So there's a temperance balance in that. That's interesting. So that's 98765 4. Oh goodness. The fourth is the moon. So I feel like we're getting deep in Saturn return territory now. We're getting deep in it. Saturn is approaching. Saturn is breaching the bubble. Speaking of like parting through veils and crowning, like breaching, right? This is so interesting. What's the most interesting about this, though? And this is sitting right under the lovers. It's like in the lovers card, one of the pillar has a light, but in the moon card, both pillars are burning. I think that's a gift of temperance. That's the gift of the learned temperance with the Knight of Cups clarified by the devil, especially after the Emperor with the Six of Cups and after the Three of Swords with the Knight of Pentacles. Um, and it's almost an ability, maybe, to not only see something in its dark and light simultaneously, but to be able to gauge how to interact with it. And it feels like that's why it's a gift of temperance for some reason. It feels like temperance is going to really help when it comes to this moon energy. And that's clarified by the Three of Pentacles. For this to be a teamwork card, there's only one person in it in this deck. He'd only won. There's a forge. He's a blacksmith or a goldsmith because these gold and emeralds. Yeah, pain with the purpose. See, prepare for the flood. I think it's April. It's either April 12th or April 19th. I know Russ knows. Um, like believing in the other light, even when you can't see it. My head is starting to hurt. I'm starting to get a headache. Oof. I think I'm stumped. It's the moon, though. And I don't have to get everything. Let's see. The one thing that I do notice, and I guess this is also interesting for coming off of devil energy, it's chains. Like there are chains at the top of the shop. There's a chain hanging down from this watch, compass, mechanical, whatever. Let's see. You see the chain near the claw of that crab right there. Oh, it's focusing. Shout out to the camera. And then the chains up there behind those pinnacles. But the chains in the shop are used to like hoist and support. New deck for clarification. I do still have the vice verses out. Why not? Let's clarify this. Oh, that was quick. The back of the high priestess just almost pushed temperance off of the table. She fell down and the temperance card went whoop and slid off to the side. I'll show you the front of the high priestess and then I'll show you why it's interesting that the back of the high priestess came out. So this is the front of the high priestess. This is the back of the High Priestess. Notice anything? Those two pillars of flame are two columns of flame. That's why I say it's interesting that the back came out. The High Priestess and the Moon. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna move on. High Priestess said, mm-mm. Honestly, with the High Priestess and the Moon, I kind of want to end it here. Because as it gets closer and closer and closer, and as it gets tighter and tighter, um, maybe there are going to be things that happen and transpire in that I'll need to decide in the moment. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because when the moon first came out, I had that feeling. And then it's clarified by the High Priestess. So I'm not going to dig. I'm going to stop here. And with the Three of Pentacles, only having one person in it, again, just because the Three of Pentacles, I mean, I have a few decks where there's only one person in the Three of Pentacles, but it's a card of collaboration. So it's almost like we know the forge is here. Maybe I'm being temperance. Like this is a tempering process to mold and shape me into someone that I'm not yet fully. And I believe that sometimes it can do us more harm than good when we have more information than we know what to do with. It's almost like I could tell you blah, 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 whatever, but it wouldn't matter to you right now. Listen to me trying to justify why I'm not doing something for myself to somebody else. Maybe we're going to stop that too. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily red pill or blue pill. Oh snap, Holly. Um, it's literally the moon and the high priestess. But yeah, I feel like to clarify that, because I'm looking right. The doorway in the Seven of Swords isn't open as wide as it is in the High Priestess card. Right? Like it's like wide open. Like the gate is opening and it's a gate that you can see through. But it's a lot more open in the High Priestess than it is at the Seven of Swords. So it almost is like there's something that I'm going to do, discover, be within now and when this happens. And like literally right after the Seven of Swords is the Tower. So it could be some huge monumental shift that it's like it's so important. Like, how could I know until it happens? Um, so yeah, I think it also made me think of something else, but I can't remember what it was right now. Wait, this. Where was this? And I said it's interesting that the high priestess almost knocked the angel off the table, right? Look at the bottom of both of these. You see that? It's almost like it's a similar pool of energy or water. It's different in ways. And look, the sky looks like it might even be similar. But her vantage point is a lot higher. I don't know. And like this is literally the moon, right? the water at the bottom of the moon card. So things get real watery. Things get real watery towards the end of this with all the water at the bottom of these cards. Interesting. Okay. The moon is at her feet. Oh. The high priestess is, so traditionally the high priestess is Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, but the moon is Pisces. So yes, question mark. What's also interesting is though, at least in the SKT, I think in some other decks as well, with the high priestess, there's a crescent moon and a pomegranate. It's also interesting that the emperor is holding scrolls and there's an open scroll at the foot of the high priestess. It's a closed scroll here, but it's open here. So I'm fine with that. Pomegranate Venusian, exactly. She rolls with the moon. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's a moon on the high priestess. It's a crescent moon. Yeah. Sorry. Why won't you let me be nice to you? Oh, he was telling you about a new girl. Oh, snap. That's cute. He's confused because she wants to pay for her own food. Oh, it's sweet that he wants to pay. Sounds like you raised them well, Holly. But yeah. Um, what were you saying? I feel like what did Eve say? Where I saw it and I lost it. You can handle it. Okay. Were you saying you can handle it? I was like, keep pushing. No. I feel like Eve's always trying to get me to pull more cards. I'm just kidding. Kinda. Not really. I feel like she is. But I don't mind. That was something. That was something. That was something. He's a good egg. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. What's at the bottom of the deck after that? Oh, so the bottom under the deck, the bottom of the deck under the lovers. Oh, snap. So the three cards at the bottom of the deck under the lovers, it's three majors. It's the Wheel of Fortune, Temperance, and the World card. It's interesting that the World came out because I've already seen the World in the little deck. The Wheel of Fortune, Temperance again, balancing the water and the fire and the world. Under that is the Nine of Wands. It feels like the most difficult part of his journey is like navigating the terrain. He's like sinking into the mud. Oh, I can handle the water, was what you meant. Okay. I'm like all over the place. I'm See, I would say I'm excited for the return of the water, but also like I would be a little not trepidatious. Nervous. But I guess at the same time, um oops, I wouldn't be. That's also something that I've been slowly but surely um not working on, but uh brain. Yeah. And keep in mind too that like as my Saturn return gets closer and closer to being direct, Jupiter and Neptune also get closer and closer to conjuncting. So I'm not surprised if Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces brings a lot of water while the South Node is in Scorpio. They should be in a loose trine to um no, my Pluto's in Scorpio. Nothing. Pluto's in Capricorn. The South Node is in Scorpio. They'll be in a loose trine to the South Node in Scorpio. And a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn as America's Pluto return. I think that happens next month. It goes exact. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible to like what does mastering water even mean? You know what I mean? How does one master such a fluid element? Who knows? The cow jumped over the moon. Hey, that is telling me that I need to be more Taurus moon. I can do that. I can do that. I think Cindy has a Taurus moon. She's an Aries sun, Taurus moon. I think somebody else has a Taurus moon. Is it Shayna? I think Shayna might have a Taurus moon. Ariel has a Taurus moon. No, she's a Taurus. Her moon is she's a Taurus with a lot of Aries. The HP, the High Priestess? Oh, is that how you master water? Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh, it happened again. What? What is going on in this deck? So the final cards from the pocket edition of Gilded Tarot Royale, it's the world again with the Three of Swords, though. Last time it was the world with the Five of Swords and the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. This time it's the world with the Three of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And it was the Three of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles before. So this is like heavy pre-Empress energy. Maybe it would be more fully Empress without the Three of Swords, but what did you say, Rhea, about the Three of Swords and the Nine? What was it? The Three of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles. It's like uh pain that makes it matter. It nourishes the earth. It's very gate 2, I think. Goddess Ninlil wringing out the pain to produce the water that nourishes the seeds of the earth. Look, they're all Pegasuses. They're all Pegasuses in the world card, even the ones that aren't horses. Can you see that? They all have wings. The bull with wings, the lion with wings, the angel with wings, the eagle with wings. They all have wings. And then the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And there's a peacock on this. What's interesting, though, is both the World card and the Queen of Pentacles only have one pillar. Everything else had two. Not everything. Everything I saw before had two, but these both have one pillar. See the at the top of that one pillar, and then there's the one that she has her back on. I have no idea. I remember Russ did a pickup reading in 2020. That was 2 years ago, I think. Or was it last year? I think it was last year because I started watching Russ like the late, no. Or was that 2021? It was 2021 when I started. I started watching Russ last year. It hasn't been 2 years of me watching Russ. Okay. I don't know what time is today. Yesterday I thought today was going to be Friday. It reminds you of the Island of Misfit Toys. I know it's the Lion of Judah that you typically see, not typically, but you'll see it featured on a lot of Two of Cups cards. But I have not seen that movie in a while. Toys, 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 toys. We're on the Island of Misfit Toys. Maybe Bruce Lee has a good quote about it. Final card from the larger deck. I love that the clarifiers is like world card. Like it's already over. Like you already know this. You already got this. It's already through. But then it's also coming with like the Three of Swords and the Five of Swords. With the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I have no clue. Pegusi or Pegasi? Pegasi. When Pegasi is literally right there. Like how radii or radiuses is radii. Pegusii. I'm pretty sure it's not Pegusii. Can I get a final card, please? No. All right. I'm going to shuffle the vice verses. Oh, who was that at the cut? The Four of Pentacles. Reminds me of the Wizard of Awareness and the Enchanted Map Oracle. Thank you all for being here with me. This was something interesting. This was interesting. As I navigate the next leg of my journey, a hippogriff. Pegasi? You love the plural Pegasi? Ooh. The Seven of Wands flipped over, but it didn't come out. So that's what makes using this deck interesting. Because the card, if it flips over in any other deck, I'm taking it. In this one, I'm like, oh, you just want it to be on the other side. Okay. No problem. Oof. Look who didn't want to go back in the deck. The High Priestess. She flipped over. It's her front side now. Okay. Oh. That's interesting. I think I know why the High Priestess came out to clarify the moon. I don't know why. Because with the front of the High Priestess, we can see that behind her is just some cosmic, universal, whatever. So from this side, that's actually the outside world. And so to see this side of the High Priestess, it makes it feel like something is going to emerge from these waters. And then it's going to meet the world. Like this is the internal side of the High Priestess. This is on the other side of that veil, I guess, basically. and it's coming through the moon. And what's also interesting is, let me find that moon card because I noticed these. I didn't know what they were though. Um, Here it is right here. The moon is in between the Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. And look at this Judgment card. Big old wings. You don't need wings to fly. All you need is friendship. Hello, HP, right? See these little red things? I was like, what are those? Off of the gizmo. And then the Sphinx actually has a red bulb on it. I don't know what that is though. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's something. Oh my gosh, that's literally a pomegranate. It's a pomegranate. That's a pomegranate. I'm pretty sure that's a pomegranate. I don't know if these are pomegranates, but with it being the moon card, it could make sense, especially because, Persephone and Hades, which is interesting because it feels like I've talked about that before, though, with the light in the lower world. It feels like there's something in the underworld that doesn't, it's like it hasn't been birthed yet because every time Persephone has to leave, it gets neglected. And so it's almost like if Persephone could stay in the underworld, it would actually birth something. And that's the thing that would, rise up out of the depths. And then it would come out to meet the world rather than being sort of behind the veil. And this moon energy. And we see the crab emerging. My Mars is in Cancer. But anyway, sometimes you see pomegranate, sometimes you see red onion. Red onion would be the Four of Pentacles, I think, and the Mystical Dream Tarot. Persephone as a virgin goddess is unable to bear children. What? I don't believe it. I think that's all her mother. Her mother won't let her bear children. I don't know. I have an interesting take on Hades, Persephone, and Ceres. It's like it's an overly attached helicopter parent that can't let her daughter go. And because she can't let her daughter go, it's like we think that in that deal the earth is saved, the world is saved because when Persephone's above ground, everything grows because Ceres is happy. But it feels like it actually keeps us from entering into another cycle. The world card and the Three of Swords. It's like being so unable to face a potential heartbreak or being able to face an inconvenient reality to the point where we allow it to keep us staying in certain cycles. It's like it's a Three of Swords that we never fully face. It's the Three of Swords in the wild unknown. That is, again, almost like this. It's the dark corridor. There's something that because we can't move beyond the Three of Swords, we never get to experience. There's a whole world beyond the Three of Swords, which is what the Seven of Swords is breaking out of for me, I guess, or however it resonates for you. There's a whole world outside of the birdcage that from inside of the birdcage, it looks dangerous and challenging and mountainous because you've never had to navigate a mountain or difficult terrain inside of a birdcage. But once you get out there, you might find that it's actually not as difficult as it would seem from the other side. Oof. Read me. But again, just like Caris, it's like she so can't imagine her life without her daughter It feels like stasis, but it's a stasis that happens in cycles. And so it's not still, but the same cycles keep repeating over and over. It's like it doesn't allow for an evolution. And Keres Demeter is actually on the world card in the Tarot Apocalypsis. She's on the world card. And what was it at the bottom of the deck? It was the Wheel of Fortune, the World. It was the Wheel of Fortune, Temperance, and the World. That was at the bottom of the deck. But anyway, the answer to every question is I am Groot. Yeah. And it feels like Caris is more ready than she thinks. Me saying that Caris is ready. But there's something, again, it's like going back to wherever I talked about it. There's something about really facing those moments where we get to experience how much we've actually healed or grown along our journey. Like when I was talking about how, what, a few months ago, I was like, well, when I go back to work, everything is going to be terrible after this winter break because there are things that I didn't want to face. And I haven't faced them in particular yet, but I faced some of it partially. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't that bad. I don't have to be afraid of this anymore. And I definitely don't have to be so afraid that I'd rather just run away. And I guess in that way, it's interesting because here's yet another reason why I could just leave. But I'm being encouraged to fight, which is why it helps for me to know what matters. Oh, look at that. I finally got my final card. And the final card is the Wheel of Fortune. We see a lion without wings. We see all these animals without wings. On the world card, they had wings. Who was that? I can't tell. Oh, it's some kind of cat, maybe. It is a Kagi energy. It's interesting because Kagi is Japanese for key, but I meant Kagi, Cogggy, not Kagi, Kagi. In what is it? I don't even remember English written as Romaji. Is it Romaji? There are two, or three, or four, or five. It depends. I'll show you. Like it could be like there's this one in the middle and the ring outside, but every layer could be another ring. It won't focus. Maybe. There it is. Every one of those, like the center circle and then the spikes outside of that, the pink one, the blue star, and then like this right here. Because it could be like if it's a top down view, it could be ones like laid on top of each other. So like you have the tiny one and then a bigger one and a bigger one and a bigger one. And as you unlock or twist all of them, they kind of sort of lock into place. Oh, but look, it's Coggy. They're the cogs. The cogs are behind the wheel. LOL. They're the cogs. They're under the wheel. They support the wheel. Um, but it feels interconnected in ways, which also lends itself to that Three of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the Hierophant. Oh, snap. Hold up. Mm. Bottom of the deck, the Hierophant. What does this mean? Under the Hierophant is the Fool. That's the bottom of the deck. The Hierophant with this Queen of... I don't know. I don't know. All right, see you later. No problem. Have an excellent day, night, evening, morning, evening, night. It almost does look like the one with the rings on it. I don't remember the name, but I saw it on the Angel Tarot. Somebody else has the Angel Tarot. I saw it on a video. It could have literally been anybody. I want to say it was Eve, though, but I don't think it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. What? Do you have the Angel Tarot, Eve? I don't know. I can't remember if it was somebody I watched regularly or if I was just like clicking on videos one day because I was like bored. But I saw the Angel Tarot somewhere. Oh my gosh. There goes my head again. There's my head again. I feel the chemicals kicking in. So take it easy on me. I'm afraid you're never... Oop, copyright. Oh, you don't? Okay. Wait, Rhea. Was it you? Was it Rhea? I think it was Rhea. Was it you, Rhea? Do you have the Angel Tarot? I think it was you. What video would that have been? Yeah, I'm like 99% sure it was Rhea. I think Rhea has the Angel Tarot. I'm trying to remember the video now, though. My brain is not going to help me remember. My brain is not going to help me remember. Hearing Anticipation by Carole King. Ooh, I have no clue what that is. You do? Yeah, okay. I was like, who was it? Why can't I remember? Because I can't remember the video. But then I was like, wait. Rhea. What were you talking about? Who was it? I don't remember. I like your videos. Literally. I clicked the like button. Sorry. I'm pretty sure I do. Sometimes I'll put on a video though and I'll just listen to it and then it'll end. And then I forget to like. Or sometimes like if I go into a live chat and the chat pops up, I forget to like. So the card that came out is the Star. I think this is the front of the Star. Yeah, it's the front of the Star. What's interesting though is she's not, because I was like, is it Temperance that has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land? Well, this is a Star card that doesn't have a foot in the water either. She's like firmly on the land. She's pouring into the water and onto the land, but she's not in it. Is that the goose? It's not a goose, but geese have been a thing. Bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles. And I think this is the front side too. It's interesting. And then there's the Five of Swords under the King of Pentacles. It's like the source of the King of Pentacles, the source of his abundance is this star healing. It's the waters that nourish the earth and that return to the greater cosmic sea. Right? Or is it the cosmic sea or the salt sea of awareness? Spirit Keeper's Tarot. I don't know. But it's like this is the source of abundance. This is the life that everything that grows in his kingdom is brimming with question mark. Hey, Twittyversing. Hello, Twittyversing. It's interesting. It almost feels like the star, it's a non-judgmental, just like this works for me. Like this, I'm gonna keep to nourish the garden and the grounds. That I'm gonna pour back. And there's no anger, there's no malice, there's no anything in it. It's just like it's not for me. So I'm gonna pour it back. Or I'm gonna pass. And it doesn't have to explain, it doesn't have to justify. What's also interesting is she has. I'll find it. Oh, it's literally right here. I was like, I'm gonna find the angel. The angel is literally right behind the Five of Swords, and behind that angel is the Ten of Pentacles, which is fun. Yeah, it's the angel that has the cup of silver and the cup of gold in this deck. But in this deck, they're pouring into each other. Like in the angel, they're pouring into each other. And the star, they're pouring out. So there is an internal, external. It's like the internal, not surprisingly, is the bed that the external grows on. But at some point, there has to be the release, there has to be the exchange for things to be returned. Right? To nourish the ground. Okay. That was something. I like where that ended because I'm like, wait, I don't get it. I'm confused. Oh, wow. So the top of the deck, the bottom of the deck is the King of Pentacles, right? I literally just remembered that the bottom of the deck in the Gilded Tarot was the Queen of Pentacles. It was the World, the Three of Swords with the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom. The top of the deck is the Queen of Pentacles, but it's the back of the Queen of Pentacles. There's the Queen of Pentacles. There's the King. They've got the entire deck in between them, outside of the star. And every star in the sky is a sun. That's what the back of the sun card said, right? Every star in the sky is another sun. And it feels like each sun gives something different to the earth. That's why constellations are important. Because it's like one sun can only do so much. Just like how there are things that are for us to do, there are things that are not for us to do. And so if someone does something that is for us to do, it doesn't benefit us as much as if we did it ourselves. It's almost like it doesn't stick, it doesn't penetrate to the root, it doesn't go deep enough. And in a more realistic way, it's like because it's a lot easier to form a dependency. And it doesn't even have to be a thing, it can be a substance. You know what I mean? It could be anything. I would say anything material, but it doesn't even have to be something material. There are lots of immaterial things that we can form dependencies on. A lot of like concepts. You know what I mean? Not saying anything is wrong, not saying anything is right. It's not for me to say for anyone, you know? But yeah. So That's what I got. Enjoy your walk, Rhea. 5:50. It's like 7 here. I'm hungry. I will I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I will do my best to continue doing the same as I approach my Saturn conjunction, but it's in like Aquarius. You know what I mean? This was something. Thank you all for being here and unraveling. Is that the word I want to use? It's like unfurling, but it feels like it's unraveling. Maybe it's like if there's a tapestry. Oh, that's interesting. It's almost like if there's a tapestry that is regarded as being sacred or whatever, going back to dependencies on even immaterial things, right? Even though a tapestry is a material thing. Um, and so we look at the tapestry, we observe it, we revere it, and then one day a cat, a kitten, an animal, a child, someone who doesn't know any better begins to unravel the tapestry, and we're like, oh my gosh, you're unraveling the sacred tapestry. But then it's like there's something behind the tapestry on the wall, and it's like, oh snap. So that was it. This whole time we thought it was the tapestry. It was the thing behind the tapestry. It's like, yes, it was the thing behind the tapestry. That probably may not resonate for anybody, but it's a thing that I have now said